Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. Are today's by-election results bad news for the BJP and cause for celebration for the JDU-RJD Congress coalition in Bihar? And looking wider afield, are there also grounds for a Congress smile of satisfaction? In part 2, we analyze the results that came in this morning and ask what impact will they have on Indian politics. But first, why is the BJP stirring communal passions by talking of love jihad, Muslim men raping Hindu women and forced conversions? And why is Mr. Modi silent about this? This depressing and worrying situation is our first debate tonight. And now joining me to discuss the communal statements made by senior BJP leaders is Congress spokesperson and former Minister Manish Tiwari, BJP spokesperson Vani Tripathi, Samajwadi Party spokesperson Gaurav Bhatia, the chief editor of Nayi Dunya Shahid Siddiqui, and the well-known senior journalist and commentator Sharat Pradhan. Vani Tripathi, on Saturday, according to the Indian Express, Lakshmikant Bajpai, the UP BJP president, said, clearly alluding to India's Muslims, have they got the certificate to rape girls because they belong to a particular religion? According to the Hindu newspaper, he said, youngsters should be vigilant against love jihad. Why is the government lenient to those who indulge in such practices? Have they got license to convert the girls of the majority community? Now, these remarks not only stink of prejudice, they are clearly designed to provoke communal passions and create a rift in our country. How do you justify your UP BJP president speaking in these terms?
Mr. Thapar, I absolutely do not agree with this term that you have used twice over in your opening remarks called love jihad, because this is a term that even I have been hearing only from the media. Nowhere in the party have I heard this before.
I just quoted Mr. Bajpai according to the Hindu. Forgive me, I'm interrupting you. I just quoted Mr. Bajpai from the Hindu using that term. I'm going to repeat it. Youngsters should be vigilant against love jihad. That's Lakshmikant Bajpai's use of language. And this is clearly communal. It is clearly riddled with prejudice. It is clearly designed to create a rift between Hindus and Muslims. So come back to my question and answer it, please. How do you justify this sort of speech?
Before I absolutely do not justify anything that you are saying is stinking of, prejudice. But what is stinking of prejudice in UP today is the worst kind of violence which is happening against women and the security of women, which is absolutely a nadir. As far as one single community being singled out, I absolutely do not agree with that. No single community can be singled out and said that is responsible for violence in a particular region or a particular state. But having said that, more than 600 riots, I'm also quoting the Indian Express to you. And the Indian Express report also said, which I'm absolutely bringing to your notice, more than 600 riots in 1 year.
Not
the
riots,
security of women
not
are
riots, communal incidents.
And the rape
Please
cases which are
the
happening
Indian
against
Express
women.
correctly.
Who is going to answer those
not
questions?
Riots, communal incidents.
Thapar,
there is a difference between the two.
Mr. Thapar,
there's a difference between the two.
Mr. Thapar, of course, communal incidents are what? What are communal incidents? Communal incidents are when one community is incited against the other.
A riot is a different thing.
Violence happens, and
anyway,
the state government
let's not quarrel over that. Let's not quarrel over language. Vani Tripathi, I'm stopping you because you began by saying something very important, and I want to underline it for the audience. Are you saying to me that you cannot blame any one community, you cannot single out any one community? Because the reason I say it is, Lakshmikant Bajpai was doing precisely that. He was singling out one community and he was clearly alluding to the Muslims. Are you saying you disagree? Give me a clear answer.
Mr. Thapar, no, I'm giving you a clear answer. I'm not going to mince my words here. My clear answer is that the situation of Uttar Pradesh and the kind of violence riddled state it has become is an absolute nadir. The security of women is absolute nadir. And if the
can you blame it on the Muslims alone? Can you blame it on the Muslims alone? Answer that.
Needs to be underlined.
Vani Tripathi, can you blame it on the Muslims alone? That's the question you're sidestepping.
I am not saying, Mr. Thapar, I am not saying anything about a single community, but the state of Uttar Pradesh, the lawlessness of the state of Uttar Pradesh is right in front of you.
Yes,
please do not put words into my mouth.
I'm not putting words into your mouth. I'm asking you whether you agree with Lakshmikant Vajpayee, whose words I'm quoting. All right. I've got your answer. I may have interrupted you a lot, but you have made clear that you cannot blame one community. Mr. Vajpayee, your party president, was.
What is Lakshmikant Vajpayee saying, underlining the state of violence?
No, he wasn't underlining the state of UP. Don't misinterpret the poor man. He was clearly blaming Muslims. Sharad Pradhan, unfortunately, all right, Vani Tripathi, you've had your say. Let someone else speak.
You are misinterpreting
Just a moment.
What the BJP is trying to say.
All right, maybe I am. Let's see what others say about my misinterpretation, whether they think I'm misinterpreting, whether they think I'm speaking the truth. Sharad Pradhan, it wasn't just Lakshmikant Vajpayee. Unfortunately, Kalraj Mishra, a union minister, according to The Hindu, also spoke specifically about love jihad. So let's first take up this whole issue of love jihad. Is love jihad happening in UP? Give me a clear answer.
No, when you know, I felt this, the BJP is trying to create the situation, I think, with the clear intent to stoke up the communal fires. And the irony is that the ruling party is not making sufficient effort to stop this. You know, I feel, I have said this earlier also on your program, that the kind of the action that the government takes is often delayed and it is often prejudiced.
But can I stop you?
Can I stop you? Is aroused
can I stop you? First, give me a clear answer. Is love jihad happening or not? Answer that specifically.
Well, what they are doing, what the BJP is trying to do, their leaders and in their frontal organizations, what they are trying to do is, yes, definitely, yes, this is what they are doing.
No, I know they are doing it, but are Muslims indulging in love jihad? That's the question I'm asking you. Are Muslims indulging?
No, I don't think. No. BJP is trying to give it that color. No, Muslims are not indulging in. I don't agree with that.
All right, you absolutely stand by that. Muslims are not indulging in it. I'm asking you to repeat your answer.
No, they are Muslims. To brand Muslims as indulging in this is absolutely unfair and wrong.
All right. Gaurav Bhatia, according to the Times of India, Lakshmikant Vajpayee said, and I'm quoting him, the UP government is defending love jihadis whilst their victims are murdered or harassed by the police. He also said that love jihad is particularly prevalent in Braj region. How does your government respond to that accusation?
Karan, I would start by saying this, that yesterday I was watching the statements of not just Mr. Lakshmikant Vajpayee, but also Mr. Vinay Katiyar, who is a very senior leader of the BJP. Both used the term love jihad. Both were targeting a particular community. And it was very evident that they have a communal agenda up their sleeve. Very importantly, please understand, this is not the first time that they have tried to divide the society on communal lines. In Meerut, a heinous crime was committed against a woman. She was raped.
My question was a specific one to you. Are you guilty, as Lakshmikant Vajpayee has claimed, of defending love jihadis whilst their victims are murdered and harassed by the police? That's the accusation Vajpayee is levelling against your government. Respond to that.
I will answer your question first, but then allow me some time to make my point. The answer is that the government does not see any religion when it comes to a criminal. A criminal is a criminal, and I can give you two incidents that have happened very recently where, irrespective of a person's religion, quick action was taken. First was the incident of the Saharanpur riot case, where the accused persons belonged to both communities. And let me tell you, there were around 60 arrests. Can I make my point? Otherwise, Karan, we cannot have the discussion going forward. But you can ask me a question, I'm trying to respond to your question.
But the point I want you to answer is the accusation you're defending love jihad, because I want you to counter that. Are you or are you not?
I am categorically saying that there is no such thing as love jihad. There can't be. Ultimately, irrespective of the religion, the two communities have been living in peace and harmony in the state of UP. If these disturbances are being orchestrated by the BJP because they want to gain communal, want to do communal politics and gain political mileage, then it is another thing. And two incidents, I just wanted to give you these examples which are very relevant. Allow me to complete myself, that arrests of persons of both communities were made, and the numbers are almost the same. Then the other Meerut incident, where the accused persons happened to be from a particular community, they were arrested immediately. So I don't know, except for the BJP, nobody sees these things like Love Jihad, like the Muradabad loudspeaker case. And I ask the BJP, is development equal to Love Jihad?
All right.
Is development that the BJP spoke about equal to a Hindu Rashtra? Is that the development they were talking about when they went out and reached to the millions of voters?
Short answers, please. Short answers. Let's not become polemical. Let's keep it short and sharp so that we can move on. Shahid Siddiqui, today's Times of India carries a story from Ranchi, where a Hindu girl called Tara Shadio was duped into marrying a Muslim called Rakibul Hassan Khan because that gentleman presented himself as a Hindu called Ranjit Kumar Kohli. I'm not sure whether this amounts to love jihad, but it certainly sounds like a form of deception and entrapment. How do you respond to that? I know it's to do with Ranchi, not UP, but in a sense it's exactly the sort of example the BJP will pick up on to justify its exaggerated claims about love jihad in UP.
Karan, there have been frauds, there have been criminals from any community and every community. You want to tell me that there are not many men, NRI, who come here, marry 1, 2, 3 women, hoodwink them? Would you call it NRI jihad? There are Hindu guys who are, misleading women, marrying. I've read of cases where 10, 15 women have been married. So these are individual crimes. Don't make it communal crimes. This very idea of love jihad is a very obnoxious and vulgar idea, because you are insulting women, you are insulting, fundamental rights. You are saying Hindu women do not have the understanding that they will marry any Tom, Dick and Harry, or call it Karimuddin, Salimuddin, Nasimuddin. They will marry anybody. They don't have the sense to make out who is right and who is wrong. So don't make one case turn it into a huge conspiracy. And what Bajpai was saying was that they are planning it, they are being funded, they are wearing clothes and motorcycles, and they are coming with a agenda and a plan. This is absolute obnoxious and nonsensical, and this will be counterproductive for BJP, let me tell you. This is not going to help them. If they think that they are going to divide the society and get political mileage out of it, it will not.
Manish Tiwari, it's not just love jihad, unfortunately. Lakshmikant Bajpai claims that Muslim boys are raping Hindu girls. And that's clearly worse, because that is a criminal offense. How do you respond to that accusation?
A Hindu girl, a Muslim rapes a Muslim girl, that is okay. But if it is from any other community, they are distinguishing between a secular rape and a communal rape. What are they talking about? And
actually, that question was for Manish Tiwari.
Violence against women, 99.99%.
Absolutely. I'll come back to Shahid Siddiqui.
99.99%.
I'll come back to Shahid Siddiqui, but that was a question for Manish Tiwari. Manish Tiwari, as a Congress spokesman, as a Congress minister, how do you respond to that charge that Muslim men are raping Hindu girls made by Lakshmikant Bajpai, BJP president in UP?
Well, Karan, you have been, or you are, a master of the turn of the phrase. First of all, love and jihad are oxymorons, and I am very surprised as to how somebody could fit them together into one phrase. You see, the fundamental issue is, does a person of a particular community have the right or not to marry a person of another community, of another caste, of another denomination, of another religion? Now, if there is an element of forcible conversion which takes place after that marriage, yes, it becomes an offense which definitely should be dealt with in accordance with law. And insofar as this very reprehensible allegation is concerned, that there are community rapes which are going on, I am afraid that the gentleman in question must be put to the strict test of law, because after all, the rape is the most heinous offense irrespective of who commits it. So therefore, could he please point out incidents where he claims that there is an orchestrated attempt by people of one community to actually target women of another community and then implement that conspiracy? That's an extremely serious charge, and if the gentleman in question question, can actually bring evidence to bear, then he must put it out in the public space. And if he cannot, he should publicly apologize. Because this is the kind of thing, which polarizes and brings communities to a head. And therefore, all that he's attempting to do is to ensure that the specter of fundamentalism and communalism hangs low over this country.
Absolutely.
You're actually getting communities to go to war with each other.
You've made your point. I want to bring in Vani Tripathi. Vani Tripathi, I'm going to further quote from Lakshmikant Bajpai. According to the Times of India of the 24th, Mr. Bajpai said, and I'm quoting, 99% of the accused are Muslims. I'm repeating it, 99.99%. How on earth does this gentleman know right up to 2 decimal points of accuracy? I put it to you again, this is nothing but communal prejudice being peddled as alleged fact to try and create communal passions and disturbance because you think you're going to benefit politically from it.
Mr. Thapar, one, I take strong objection to the fact that everybody else on your program has gotten an absolute, single line of dialogue to speak, and whenever I'm speaking, you've been butting in. So please give me 20 seconds. The sad part is that you are discussing a term which I'm saying is a fabricated term. I am not aware of that term, and yet we are not discussing the condition of women in UP. We are not discussing the crime rate in UP. We are not discussing communal violence in UP, and we are discussing something
do you want an answer to the question? Do you want an answer to that question?
Fabricated by
do you want an
reports
answer
in the
to the
media.
question?
I'll
tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Again, you're not
the term love jihad was used by Lakshmikant Bajpai. I've quoted him. If it's fabricated, he's fabricated it. Secondly, it's Lakshmikant Bajpai who's claiming that 99.99 rapes are done by Muslims.
And not let me speak. It's not, Mr. Thapar, it's not fair to not let me complete. There is a difference between what Mr. Manish Tiwari, my dear friend, was defining as interfaith marriages which are done harmoniously and which do not create strife in society. Those marriages and marriages which are done out of coercion, which lead to crime. I mean, by actually structuring
how do you know those marriages are done out of coercion? You're just stating it. What proof do you have coercion was involved?
You are protecting.
Come in.
You are protecting.
Yes, come in, Mr. Bhatia.
Come in,
Mr. Bhatia.
I would like to tell Ms. Vani Tripathi about something. That all these data that are being cited by Mr. Lakshmikant Bajpai are being manufactured at the RSS office. And if they even can cite 2 examples which are genuine, then the law would take its own course because there are enough provisions in the law to take care of such situations.
Have not been done by the BJP. We are not in power. We are not in power in Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Bhatia.
Mr. Tripathi, one of your MPs from Muzaffarnagar is an accused for the Muzaffarnagar riots. Sanjeev Balian is an accused in the riots. He's an MP in your government at the moment.
BJP is not in power in UP right now. Your government is.
I think you will have to.
Your government is in power. The Samajwadi Party is ruling Uttar Pradesh.
Can I ask both of you to keep quiet for a moment? I want to bring in Sharad Vani Tripathi. Vani Tripathi, hold your peace.
Give me some time. I just want to make my point.
That I'm asking you. Since you are putting me responsible.
Vani Tripathi, I'm going to ask them to fade your mic down if you won't keep quiet. I'd like to give someone else a chance. Can we fade down Vani Tripathi's mic for a while? Can we please fade down Vani Tripathi's mic for a while? Sharad Pradhan, let me try and first establish the facts. I know you're an independent journalist. I'm going to rely on you to establish the facts. Can it be the case that 99.99% of rapes are committed by by Muslim men on Hindu women? What's the fact?
It's absolutely bogus and baseless. This shows that without doing any homework, it's a wild allegation being made with an intent. With a dirty intent. This is unacceptable. I've been very critical of the law and order situation, all right, on UP, but that doesn't mean that Ms. Vani Tripathi continues to harp on this 600 figure. It's ridiculous. There are no 600 riots It never happened. It's not possible.
Absolutely.
It's never happened. A small incident involving a Hindu and a Muslim, just because two cycles ram into each other and one happens to be a Muslim and a Hindu, it becomes a communal incident. It can't be called a communal incident.
For the sake of the audience, I'll point out that the Indian Express actually called it 600 communal incidents. An incident is not a riot. Many of those incidents had to do with loudspeakers being used. Many of them had to do with dirt being thrown out of someone's property. It was not a riot. Let's not confuse the two. But I want to come back first to...
I would not even call it a communal incident. You know, to describe it as a communal incident is unnecessarily, vitiating the atmosphere.
Absolutely. Shahid Siddiqui, let me bring you in. At the moment, what you have is a situation where BJP leaders, as senior as the party president in UP, as senior as Kalraj Mishra, a member of Mr. Modi's government, are clearly inciting communal hatred. They are clearly spreading communal passions which are going to create a rift between Hindus and Muslims. Yet the only response we get from Akhilesh Yadav is that he can't be held responsible for why people have love marriages. Full stop. Is that an adequate response from the Chief Minister, who at the end of the day is responsible for law and order in that state?
I hold Akhilesh Yadav, Samajwadi Party government responsible for the terrible law and order situation in Uttar Pradesh. But that does not mean that you talk absolute nonsense. I mean, the figures I have is that there were 37 incidents of rape in say Meerut and this area. Out of that, 7 were where Muslims were involved, 30 where non-Muslims were involved. Mainly Hindus were involved. Now there was Muzaffarnagar riot. Nobody talks about it. There were rapes and killings and murder of women in dozens. But nobody wants to talk about it because it doesn't suit anybody.
Okay.
Neither the Samajwadi Party, nor the BJP, nor the Congress, nobody wants to talk about it. And I'm not saying that Muslim women were raped. Women were raped. And even women organizations are not talking about it. So this kind of attitude is going to help those who are committing violence against women. In Western Uttar Pradesh, the honor killing is so common, nobody is talking against that. Are they worried about Hindu women? Is Mr. Party worried about Indian women? If she is, then they should all speak up against honor killing. But nobody wants to do that. They want to talk about Muslims raping Hindu women.
Gaurav, I'm not going to let the two of you quarrel with each other. Gaurav Bhatia, I want to bring you in. These comments, Gaurav Bhatia, by Lakshmikant Bajpai and Kalraj Mishra are clearly designed. Please fade down the mics of people who are interrupting. We cannot permit that. Gaurav Bhatia, these comments by Lakshmikant Bajpai and Kalraj Mishra are designed clearly to inflame communal passion and divide communities. Why has your government not taken action? You have the power, you have the Chief Minister in authority to act should he want to. Why is he not acting against Lakshmikant Bajpai and Kalraj Mishra? The law of the land should be brought against these people who are trying to divide communities and spread hatred. Why are you not acting?
No, Karan, let me just tell you this, that be it communal incident in Muradabad or elsewhere, the government acted promptly, and that is why we were able to...
What about against Lakshmikant Bajpai and Kalraj Mishra?
Yes. See, let me say this, that just now you said that the Chief Minister, Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, has not made any statement regarding love jihad. Yesterday in a public meeting, he said that we need to recognize the right of adults given under the Constitution as well as various statutes. And he said that
I asked you a different question.
Yes.
I asked you a different question. Why aren't you acting against Bajpai and Mishra?
You said, I can tell you this, Karan, if the need be, if such statements are made and if it comes within the purview of the offences that are mentioned in various penal statutes, action will be taken. But at the same time, we do not want that situation should get flared up so that BJP can take advantage again, just the way they have been doing over the past 1 year. That is the reason you have to ensure that law and order is under control.
Forgive an interruption.
If it becomes serious, I can promise you through your channel that we will take strict action even against leaders like Mr. Lakshmikant Bajpai and Mr. Vinay Katiyar if they continue making such irresponsible
statements. Just a moment. What do you mean if they continue?
What do
you mean if they continue? once breaking the law should be sufficient. They've clearly broken the law when they claim that 99.99% of rapes are done by Muslims. They've clearly broken the law when they say, have they got a certificate to rape girls because they belong to a particular religion? I mean, how much latitude are you going to give these gentlemen? Do you have an understanding with them that they have to break the law 3 times before they act?
No latitude would be given to them. In fact, as I said, that one needs to also examine that if suo motu the government has to act or take any harsh measures like any preventive detention, then there should be sufficient evidence and the case should not fall when it is subjected to judicial scrutiny. So that is being looked into, but I am telling you, strict action will be taken against them. We will not tolerate BJP leaders taking law in their own hands. And in Muradabad, their MLAs were arrested.
I'm stopping you there. I'm running out of time. I want to get Manish Tiwari in. Manish Tiwari, you've heard Gaurav Bhatia promise that strict action will be taken. First he said, if they do it again. Then he said, if they can establish evidence that they've broken the law. Now, I've quoted what I believe is clear evidence they've broken the law. And clearly, people don't have to break the law twice and thrice. Once is sufficient to warrant action. So what do you make about the Samajwadi Party's willingness or unwillingness to act?
Well, Karan, between the administrative apathy of the Samajwadi Party and the agenda of religious polarization of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Uttar Pradesh has gone completely south. You know, I am afraid to say this, but unfortunately, this is the bitter truth. Both the Samajwadi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party feel that what is happening in UP is going to work to their benefit. I do not know whether it is going to work to their benefit, but it's definitely going to work to the detriment of India. And in the past 3 months, if there's anything which qualifies the term of this government, it is what I call the low fruit of fundamentalism, the spectre of communalism, which has come to haunt this nation within 3 months of this government coming into existence. And allow me to close off by just saying one thing. You know, while it is incumbent on the Samajwadi Party to act, what about Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Why doesn't he rein in his people? Why is he allowing them to go on a spree whereby they communalize the situation?
Let Vani Tripathi answer that. In fact, Vani Tripathi, I want to remind you before you answer about the eloquent words spoken by Mr. Modi on Independence Day, which the country admired and respected him for. He asked for a 10-year moratorium on all caste and communal strife. He talked of communal harmony. He talked of brotherliness and togetherness. How then can he permit not party workers, but the BJP UP president and a colleague from the union cabinet to be speaking in this hateful way? Why has Mr. Modi not spoken up and said, I condemn my colleagues for speaking in this manner?
Mr. Thapar, before I answer your question, my dear friend Manish Tiwari was waxing eloquent on communalism and the Prime Minister not responding to it. He has probably forgotten the 60 years of, rule of his own party and the kind of communal violence we've seen in the country. But having said that, BJP is fighting a war against communal incidents, as you're calling in UP. We will continue to do so. We will be forcible in our approach to actually bring back the agenda to security of women and the communal incidents, as you maintain, Mr. Thapar, incidents, not riots, and you say
as the
using
Indian
of loudspeakers
Express
and so
said,
on. So I'm putting it on record that the BJP and the NDA has absolutely, Mr. Thapar, yes, absolutely, as the Indian Express said.
What about Mr. Modi? Why is the Prime Minister silent? Mr. Tripathi, why is the Prime Minister silent?
The Prime Minister, let me complete, Mr. Thapar.
Ms. Vani Tripathi has no answers on silence of Mr. Narendra Modi. Mr. Narendra Modi didn't speak when
Mr. Bhatia, let her answer. Mr. Bhatia, let her answer.
Mr. Bhatia, look within.
Mr. Tripathi, don't get deflected. Why is Mr. Modi silent? Mr. Tripathi, I'm giving you 30 seconds to tell me why is the Prime Minister silent?
Price for it later.
Why is the Prime Minister silent? You've got 30 seconds. Go ahead, tell me.
The Prime Minister is not silent, as you have quoted Mr. Thapar, as you have quoted on the Independence Day speech, he has said that there will be very strict action against violence, communal violence and moratorium on these incidents, which will be taken.
Why has he not spoken out against Lakshmikant Bajpai and Kalraj Mishra's hateful statements?
Women is concerned.
Why has he not spoken out against Lakshmikant Bajpai and Kalraj Mishra's hate-riddled statements? And I'm using those words deliberately, hate-riddled statements.
Mr. Thapar, both the leaders of the BJP have brought the agenda back to the communal and the violent situation of UP, and that is what the BJP stands for.
All right, I'll take that as your answer. You are a BJP spokesperson. You have a right to present your party in any way you want. I'm very grateful to you for joining us and grateful for the fact that you were clearly in a minority of one today. But clearly this is also the sort of issue on which it would be very wrong if there was a majority opinion supporting you and some of those hateful things that have been said apparently by your party leaders in UP.